Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for tuning in to another morning breakthrough with Coco, helping you undo so God can do. Let us be thankful for another day, not promised, but indeed graciously granted. So glad to have you here this morning. I am giving you, or have been giving you, 31 ways to be accelerated into purpose. We have talked about spiritual acceleration, personal acceleration. This week, we're talking about professional acceleration. And this morning, I actually want to get even more specific in talking and giving you and sharing with you 6 keys to becoming an author, or 6 keys to writing your book, for those of you who have been considering it or have written one and it's time to write again. So, whatever the case may be, hopefully these 6 tips will be some good nuggets for you. So, those 6 tips are really simple, and it's the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who is your audience? But first of all, let me start with the what. What is the problem that you're wanting to solve? So this kind of goes back to, I remember when we talked about the burden, understanding your purpose. Who has God burdened your heart for? What types of situations, what type of issues, uh, so yes, so what type of issues, or what type of problems? What has God burdened your heart for? So what is the problem that you're solving? When you consider that, then also consider what is your message. And is your message, is your story that you're wanting to tell relevant to the problem that you're wanting to solve? So with that, now who is it that God has called you to put into, to encourage, to empower? Who is your audience? And with the who, get as detailed as you can be. I'm talking about, is it female? Is it male? Is it both? Is it black? Is it white? Is it the race even matter? What is their sexual orientation? What is their religious orientation? What is their marital status? What is their financial status? How many kids or no kids? And then get even more specific with the details. So consider the message or the story that you're wanting to tell. What is some background information? Is this somebody that has gone through a divorce? Is this somebody that has kids, so maybe a single parent? Is this somebody who is dealing with a health issue? Is it somebody who has gone through some type of abuse? Or is it somebody that's in education? So you want to get as specific as possible about your who, which you will also hear people say or call your avatar, AVATAR. So again, what's the problem you're solving? What's the message? Are they relevant? Then who is it that God has called you specifically to pour into? Now, even though you're getting specific about your who, now obviously that does not mean that that's only the people, that would be the only people reading it. You will have some others, but you want to be who. You want to know your who, because knowing your who determines the level of language and the tone that you use. So obviously, if you're teaching to kids or writing a book to kids, you're not going to use certain language that you would use if you were talking to an adult. If you're talking to preachers, or specifically, you're not going to use the same language. You can use different lingo. So again, knowing your who determines your tone and the words that you use, the lingo, and how you write your book. Because obviously, you can't. You don't talk to every genre or every individual the same way. So the what, the who, the when. When will you make time to write? When, and it can be in the morning, it can be in the daytime, it can be at night, it can be on your lunch break. When is the most effective or the most conducive time for you to write, where you can get into your zone, away from distractions? Or again, maybe you need distractions to write, but when you can get in the zone that is perfect for you, for your thoughts to flow, then consider when is the best time for you to write. Also consider when is it that you want to actually publish your book, so that you can set a timeline on okay, I need to have this done by this date, I need the book covered by this date, I need the chapters this date, I need this edited by this date. So again, when will you find time to write, and when do you want to publish it? So that was the what. the who, the when, the where. Where will you draw inspiration from? So a lot of times when I've written my book, my inspiration has come from sermons, mostly from sermons, but also personal experiences. So you can draw inspiration from people. You can draw inspiration from your coworkers. You can draw inspiration from your family. Maybe it's not anything that you can draw it from your personal experiences, but also what you witness others go through. And you want to be the conduit, or you want to be the vessel. You want to be the voice of reason and encouragement to them. So again, but when, where. So consider where you would draw your inspiration from. It can come from different places. And drawing your inspiration, also, especially when you know that you are writing, then that is time for you to be alert, because your inspiration may come from different places in unexpected times. And so always, another thing is, keep a recorder or your phone or something, or a notepad by you, even when you're sleeping or even throughout the day. So when stuff comes, then you can just jot it down or either speak it into your phone. Okay, so that's another way to, because you never know when the ideas would come or when the thoughts would come. Sometimes they just flow, and you may not be in your zone, but at least you can capture it in the moment. So keep those things nearby, a journal, a book, or your phone, so you can record. So we talked about the what, the who, the when, the where, and the how. How to write your book. So there's more than one way to write a book. So you can do an actual book or novel. You can do an ebook. You can do an audio book. You can structure it in such a way, maybe it's a how-to book, or you can do a memoir. So how you write your book is completely up to you. Also, with that being said, a lot of people ask, how long should my book be? Your book will be as long as you make it to be. There is no standard other than the standard of what Amazon or Lulu requires for you to upload a book, because I think Amazon is maybe a minimum of 19 pages. I'm not for sure. But how you write your book and how long your book is, or how long your chapters are, that's completely up to you. But you want to make sure that it flows correctly. So you don't want to force anything. You don't want to force your writing. So if maybe one chapter is longer than the other, so be it. Make your point, be effective in your writing, but don't feel like you have to force it or feel like it has to be necessarily so many words. But is it a point that should be by itself, or is it something that should be or could possibly be with another chapter? So again, how you write your book, so many different ways. You can do a novel, you can do an ebook, you don't even have to even put it on Amazon. You can sell from your website, ebooks or your book. You can sell them from your website. So that's the how. And then last is the why. So we talked about what is the problem you want to solve and what is your message, and we talked about your who. So what is your why? Why do you feel, in the billions of authors that are out there, why do you feel the need to write your book? Why do you feel the need to share your story? Why do you feel like you have something to say? Because here's the thing, writing can, for some people, it's a little bit overwhelming because they have the thoughts, but they don't know how to incorporate those thoughts into the right words and onto paper. And that's where it's good to have a writing coach or an editor. And one of the things that I do as a writing coach is I go through with people as far as figuring out their title, their chapter outline, and then throughout the process, when the writing process begins, I help them to pull out things that maybe they didn't think of. So a lot of times people may have writer's block, or they may not give enough information. So as a writing coach, I know what questions to ask to get them to pull out more information. And a writing coach will help you as far as, okay, what were you feeling during this time? What did they actually say? Do you remember the exact words, or do you remember what the day was like? And one thing I will say, as I'm thinking about this before I forget, when you begin writing, especially if it is a personal story or personal experience, or something maybe traumatic or something that's been a while that you have even thought about, understand that some emotions will start to come back, especially if it's a personal traumatic story. And you may, and it may cause you to think a certain way or feel a certain way, or go back and you may think that you were over something and now you realize that maybe you're not. That's okay, that happens. But I suggest praying or getting connected with somebody to help you through the process, because that could become a little bit overwhelming for some too. Because especially again, if you're going back and you realize, like, wow, was I really that? Because I remember thinking in some of my stories, wow, I was really that naive, or I was really that um, gullible, and it brings back some things. So again, just be mindful of that. So again, your why. So some reasons why you would want to be an author, not necessarily for the money. I can tell you that right now, but because you want to make an impact, because you want to leave a legacy. When you're gone, your book still remains. People still can read about your thoughts and what you had to pour into the world. Your impact, your contribution to the society still remains even after you're gone. It's something that you can leave for your kids to read and to know more, to carry the legacy, to carry your name, to carry your thoughts, so to speak, to have something to reflect back on. So again, but what is your why? Is it, and your why is greatly connected to the message or the problem that you're wanting to solve. So that's all I have for you this morning. The 6 keys to writing your book or becoming an author. What is the problem you want to solve? What is the message, and are they relevant to each other? Who has God called you to write to? Get specific. Gender, race, socioeconomic status, location, even kids or not, marital status. What is the issues that they're dealing with? And then that was the what, the who. When will you write? When do you want to publish? Where will you draw inspiration from? How will you write your book? How will you format it? Will it be an ebook? Do you want the audio book? Do you want a regular paperback book, or do you want a hardback book? Because hardbacks are not through. You can't get hardbacks through Amazon. You have to use another platform. And even with the how or the who will you even publish with? Who will you get to edit your book? Who will you get to do the book cover for your book? So those are some more who's too as well. Then the so that was the where, and then the how you write your book, and then the why. Why is it important for you to write a book? Why is it important for you to set aside time, to sacrifice time to write your message or your story? Okay? Thank you for tuning in to another Morning Breakthrough with Coco, helping you undo so God can do. I am the Purpose Accelerator, here to push, provoke, and catapult you into your next level of divine greatness. Thanks. Be safe, stay safe, and remember to be a blessing to someone else. Love y'all. Thanks.